Hello again, my friends. We are here to talk about SNAP benefits once again. It certainly feels like the news has just been absolutely relentless lately. But today, I think we actually have a little bit more good news to go over. And I have to tell you, I am really appreciating the hope that we're seeing as we come up against this terrifying deadline on Saturday. So, as most of you already know, we've been told that barring some sort of government action, SNAP benefits will not be funded in most states in the month of November. And for a couple of weeks now, our videos have been pretty stressful. The content that we've been covering has been mostly pretty negative. But we've seen some positive signals in the last couple of days. That are giving me some hope that we're going to be able to get this figured out. So today we're going to be talking about what the president said. We're going to be talking about what Congress is doing. That lawsuit that I mentioned yesterday, we have some additional details on that we're going to go over. And then we're also going to be talking about some companies that are stepping up to help SNAP users through this difficult time, including one that is generously offering $50 in free groceries. So we have all of that to go over today, and I hope that you'll stick with me because I know that is a lot of ground to cover. So let's start with that statement from President Trump. I don't know if you guys saw this. It's just started popping up in my feed, so I think this is fairly new. I saw it in Newsweek and ABC News and a couple of other sources. But apparently, while on board Air Force One on his way to Asia, Trump was asked what was going to go on with SNAP, basically. And he told reporters, quote, "We're going to get it done." So that's an indication to me, hopefully, that they're going to do something to facilitate those SNAP issuances. But of course, he offered no details on how that might happen. So we have to be a little... I may be skeptical there because we don't know what that's going to look like exactly. He didn't specify whether the payments would come from emergency funds, executive action, new legislation, anything like that. Hopefully there is a plan behind that statement, though. But if there is, it doesn't look like Senate Majority Leader John Thune knows about it, because when he was asked, he said that opening up the government was the answer. So cautiously optimistic and desperately hoping that something materializes from this statement that Trump said. Now, for those of you who are just joining in, we do have other news to cover today, including some organizations that are going to be giving away, I guess one organization that's giving away $50 in free groceries, and other ones that are stepping up to help as well. So we'll be diving into that here in just a little bit. So, okay. Now, in Congress, we know that some action is being taken. I haven't necessarily seen any progress on reopening the government, unfortunately, but we do know that Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri has introduced a bill called Keep SNAP Funded Act of 2025, and that would ensure that those SNAP benefits are paid, which would be very helpful, of course. And then I don't know how to say this other senator's name. It looks like Lujan to me. Introduced a Senate bill as well called the Keep SNAP and WIC Funded Act of 2025 that would fund both SNAP and WIC. So those have both been proposed. Don't necessarily know how it's going to go. It looks like those are competing proposals, probably along party lines. Now, I did see a quote in one of the articles about this where they said that ultimately it's going to be up to Senate Majority Leader John Thune if either of those get a floor vote. But I am hoping, because it looks like this has bipartisan support in Congress, so hopefully they're going to be able to move that forward. I know there's similar measures that have been proposed in the House as well. So would be good to see them come together, even if they can't agree on anything else, if we can at least get the food benefits out, right? Now, we do know from yesterday's news that over 24 states have joined a federal lawsuit demanding that USDA continue those SNAP payments during the shutdown. And that may be the quickest form of relief that we have, because they're seeking an emergency order to basically force the funding of those benefits. And I know there was some confusion on the stream yesterday because we had a mistake in our slides. So I just wanted to go over this really quickly. That the governors from Kansas, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania joined the attorneys general from Arizona, California, Colorado, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington, and Wisconsin in that action. And that list was taken directly from a press release from one of those attorney general announcements about the lawsuit. So we do know that that list is the most up-to-date and accurate version of that. Like I said, they are seeking emergency relief, basically from the courts, pushing USDA to make those statements, make those issuances for SNAP. Sorry, I keep getting distracted because I so badly want to watch the chat, but I'm going to try to stay out of the chat until we get through the slides that I have prepared here. So this is a quote from a press release about that lawsuit. And I really liked what they said here. And it really shows what they're going for. They said, quote, while the federal government funds and sets the monthly amount of SNAP benefits, states are responsible for administering programs in their state. Suspending SNAP benefits in this manner is both contrary to law and arbitrary and capricious under the Administrative Procedure Act. Where Congress has clearly spoken, providing that SNAP benefits should continue even during a government shutdown, USDA does not have the authority to say otherwise. The coalition will also be filing a temporary restraining order later today, asking the court to immediately turn benefits back on. So that's the whole nature of this lawsuit, is they just want the court to turn those benefits back on, which would definitely be a huge blessing for all of us. Now, I know yesterday we had some questions about the scope of this. A lot of you were concerned, especially about the point of, if your state didn't sign on to the lawsuit, is that going to do you any good? And that's a very valid concern. I know legal stuff can be super confusing, and I am not a lawyer. I am just a researcher, but I did some digging into this today, and it does appear, based on what I was able to find, that if the court decides in favor of those states, that it could affect everyone nationwide. In fact, it's most likely to do so because the court would be basically saying that, USDA needs to fund those benefits, and it's very unlikely that that decision would be state specific. So they have filed the case urgently. It could still take days, maybe a week. I don't know exactly what that timeline is. I saw some sources say days. I saw some say 7 to 10 days. We don't really know. What we do know is we are basically past the deadline for getting SNAP benefits out on time in most states. So even if the court was to take action and say, you guys have to send these benefits out, there is likely to, at the very least, be a delay. I know we have to get to the point where the court makes the decision, but then also the states are going to have to reopen, get everything processed, send it to the processor. The processors are going to have to deal with it. They did say that the amounts have already been calculated. All that calculations are already done. They just haven't been sent to the issuers. So Kansas said it would take 3 days from the word go to getting that sent out. So I would at least brace for a delay, but I am desperately hoping, between the statement that we saw earlier today, the lawsuit, and the other things that we're seeing going on, that there will be some sort of intervention here to prevent this catastrophic missed payment issue in November. So that's what I am hoping for based on the news that we've seen in the last couple of days here. Now, the lawsuit is specifically targeting the USDA itself, Brooke Rollins in her office as the Secretary of Agriculture, the Office of Management and Budget, the Director of OMB, and the United States of America. And this was another quote from the lawsuit that I liked. It said, less than a month ago, on September 30, USDA itself acknowledged in its own shutdown contingency plan that SNAP, quote, has been provided with multi-year contingency funds, and that these multi-year contingency funds are also available to fund participant benefits in the event that a lapse occurs. So there is that. There was a lot of good information in there. I actually found a copy of the lawsuit, and I enjoyed reading that today. But again, I'm not a lawyer. They also said that there should be Section 32 funds available, and it says USDA's October 24th memorandum did not claim that those funds are legally unavailable. Instead, they claimed that using these funds for SNAP benefits would jeopardize their use for child nutrition programs and the WIC program, but provided no figures to substantiate this claim. As noted above, the fund has $23 billion in it as of October 8th, 2025. So it sounds like USDA isn't even saying that that money is unavailable. So it looks like that's being roped in to this lawsuit as well. And of course, there's a lot of other information in there about how the states are responding to this and the harm that would be done to the states if some sort of agreement isn't reached on that point. So it also outlines some other ways that they're taking action to provide help during this time. So California is deploying the National Guard to help food banks, and they're also trying to fast track $80 million in state funds for food banks, which is huge because those food banks are desperately going to need this support. They're already having a hard time, let alone if there is a delay or a stoppage in SNAP. Colorado's governor is seeking $10 million in funds for food banks. Minnesota's governor is providing $4 million in emergency food bank funding. And we know from our work in other videos that we've done recently that Virginia and other states are stepping up to fund their own food assistance in November as well. So there are a handful of states that are taking that action, and we did a video on that just a few days ago if you're interested in seeing what is going on there. So now let's talk about those free groceries we talked about. So GoPuff is a grocery delivery app, and they are offering $50 in free groceries for up to 200,000 SNAP recipients during the shutdown. So what you have to do if you want to use this is you need to download GoPuff. You need to link your SNAP card to your GoPuff account, even if it doesn't have funding on it. You need to add SNAP eligible groceries to your cart. And then when you check out, you need to use a specific coupon code in order to get that $25 off coupon and free delivery. So they're doing 2 waves. So you can use it twice. You get $25 off in the first wave, $25 off in the second wave, for a total of $50 in free groceries in the month of November. But the code changes. So between November 1st and 15th, you will want to use code SNAPRelief1. And then there's a typo on the slide here. Between the 16th and the 30th, you will want to use code SNAPRelief2 to get that same discount. Now, a lot of people are reporting on this and not necessarily mentioning the limitation. I did see that they are limiting this to 200,000 coupons, which is still very generous, but it means that there is a chance that those codes will run out. So if you are going to take advantage of this, I would recommend that you don't wait until you're in a crisis, and you do that fairly early after each wave of those opens. So November 1st and then November 16th. They claim that in some areas, those deliveries can be made in as little as 15 minutes, which is kind of astonishing. I can't imagine having anything delivered that fast, but that's kind of cool. DoorDash is also stepping up with an emergency response. Their emergency response program has a couple of different facets to it. So they're going to be delivering 1 million meals for free through their Project Dash partnership, and that's coordinated through local food banks. They are also going to be waiving delivery and service fees for an estimated 300,000 grocery orders, but only if you order from certain retailers like Sprouts, Dollar General, Schnucks, Food Lion, Giant Foods, The Giant Company, Hannaford, Stop & Shop, Hy-Vee, Giant Eagle, and Wegmans. If you order from anywhere else, those delivery and service fees are still going to apply, so do be aware of that. I also want to caution you, it is more expensive to get your groceries through DoorDash, even when those fees are waived. There is typically an upcharge on each individual item. It is not the most economical way to get your groceries. I personally use Walmart Plus delivery because they deliver to my address and no one else does, but also because I found that the prices are a lot more fair. And of course, you can get started with that at lirlinks.com/Walmart if you're curious. They have a SNAP discount and all sorts of stuff. And they are a sponsor. But anyway, I think that just about covers what we were going to go over in the presentation. Yeah. So I know that SNAP is the thing everyone's worried about right now. But if you are Medicare eligible, please remember open enrollment only lasts until early December. More than ever before, there are all sorts of aggressive ads teasing things like grocery cards and other incentives, but I've seen people compromise their healthcare on that in the past. So if you are Medicare eligible, please give these guys a call. This is our sponsor chapter. They provide free one-on-one guidance to help you make sure that you're choosing the very best plan for you so that you can still see your doctors, get your meds, and get any other perks or benefits that you may be eligible for. So they are awesome at helping sort through all the noise so that you can make the best choice for your situation. Now we are going to dive into the Q&A here, and we are going to do things a little differently today because we had some challenges yesterday. So I do have two moderators on here with me to kind of help me sort through this. They're going to be helping us highlight some questions and hopefully keep the trolls and the bots to a minimum today, since that was a bit of a challenge yesterday. Along with that, we came up with some cool ways to help manage the Q&A yesterday. So if you can ask your questions in all caps or start it with the word question, that really helps get our attention so that we don't miss anything. I know yesterday's stream went on for like 2 hours because I wanted to make sure we didn't miss anyone, and I am kind of limited on time today. So anyway, just wanted to kind of go over that. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of chat going on. You guys are awesome. Sorry, a little bit of team communication going on here as we figure out how these moderation tools work. Okay. All right. Let's dive right in here. So, okay, so since one of my moderators is here in the room with me, it's actually my daughter. Yes, if you see someone who is behaving like a troll, just ban them and we'll deal with it later. Okay, honey? I don't know. The 3 dots that appear right there. There you go. All right, now that we've got that figured out, let's see. What do we got? Yes, so Amanda's pointing out that DoorDash doesn't cover any of the stores that I just mentioned in that list. It is definitely different in different areas. I know in my area we have a Dollar General, and I don't think DoorDash covers that in my area either. It definitely depends on your location, and I'm sorry that that's not available to you. That's really disappointing. Mose is saying, does GoPuff work in Virginia? That is an excellent question, and I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. It looks like they deliver to more than 500 cities, but I'm having a hard time getting the exact list here real quick. Maybe if either you or Stephanie could look that up really quick and figure out where GoPuff service area is, that would be great. Trying to get more information for you. Did you have any questions ready to go, by the way? Sorry, this is my daughter's first day working on this, so it's a little overwhelming. I saw a comment in here from someone that really stuck out to me, but I'm having a hard time getting back into it. I think it was from Megan. Okay, this is great. So many places are offering Thanksgiving food boxes through schools and churches and food banks. So if you get up and go wait in line, you'll have a turkey or a ham for Thanksgiving. This is true. We are seeing a huge amount of support for those Thanksgiving programs this year because so many people know that the need is going to be so high. Our team is currently working on getting this list out. Let's see. Right now, as a matter of fact, this team is... Sorry, my brain is doing too many things at the same time. No, our team is currently working on our free Thanksgiving food list, getting that updated for this year, making sure that we've got as much in there as we can possibly get, because I know you guys need that help. So Victoria is saying, if states are required to legally continue SNAP, then why are states saying they can't or won't? That is a great question. So the USDA is what funds SNAP. It comes from the federal government, and then that money is given to the states, and then the states calculate who's getting what, send it to the benefits issuers, and then they put that money on your EBT cards. So it's kind of a tag team effort. So the USDA, when they sent out that memo saying to not prepare the paperwork for the issuers this month, also said that they would not be reimbursing any states that chose to send out those benefits. And the amount of benefits that are issued is simply too great for most states to make up for. They just don't have the money in their budgets. We have seen states that have surpluses stepping up and putting that money out there anyway, even though they know they're not going to be reimbursed for it. So states like Virginia are going to figure out how to get that sent out. And they've said that they're going to do that. But most of the other ones, just they can't afford to make up that deficit. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was the governor of Maryland was very outspoken about that situation. So that's why that isn't happening. Did you have another one? Okay. How would elderly like to receive food? I'm more than happy to share in my neighborhood, but don't really know how. I love this question. I am so glad that you want to help. That is great. There are all sorts of ways to do this. So buy nothing groups are amazing. The buy nothing economy is basically people give what they can, take what they need, and they are very popular on Facebook. There is an app for buy nothing, but I installed it yesterday or the day before, and it is like a dead zone in my area. But the Facebook group is really popular, so you can find them on social media a lot of times. Nextdoor is another social media app that connects you with people in your neighborhood. It's a great way to find people to share with. Churches and food banks always know who needs help. They're really well connected to the community that way. If you're looking to help elderly people specifically, reaching out to your local senior center or your local area agency on aging will give you some great leads. All sorts of organizations out there. Meals on Wheels too. That's what they do, is help get food out to people who need it, so they'd know how to get sharing there as well. So thank you for that question. I love that. Okay, how is this going to affect the workers with nobody shopping? I've been really surprised that we haven't seen more feedback, pushback, I guess, from retailers. Because we know from years past that a lot of stores are dependent on those SNAP dollars. So I don't know. I have been surprised by how little information has gone out about that. It will definitely be interesting to see how that will affect stores and workers by extension. Now, I want to highlight this comment from Megan really quick. I thought this was cool. So Megan says, did you see that some food banks around the nation are receiving food donations from the LDS Church with the shutdown happening? It's comforting to know that there is some relief happening. Yes, I did, and I love that. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is one of the first things I thought of when I saw that this situation was unfolding, because I know they're great about sharing food with food banks, and I actually reached out to their press department and was trying to get some information about that because I knew that they were going to do that, and I think that's amazing, and I'm really grateful that they were able to do that. Okay, you got anything else? Okay, not yet. All right, Victoria says, what law says SNAP is supposed to be paid during a shutdown? I don't know if it's a law as much as it is precedent, kind of. So going into a shutdown, every government agency prepares what they call a contingency plan, and they're supposed to publish that openly on their website where everybody can see it. And that's what's happened in preparation of every shutdown as far as I can remember. Now, the quotes that I read you when we were going over the information about the lawsuit a little bit earlier, talking about what the USDA had said, were from the USDA contingency plan. And in 2019, when the government shut down previously, the plan also said at that time that contingency funds could be used to continue benefits during the shutdown. So I think, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but it's my understanding that they're not relying so much on law with this as they are what the USDA had said in the past and the precedent that they set in those contingency plans. The contingency plan that said that those funds were available was on the website until just a couple of weeks ago, and then it was yanked and replaced by one that said basically that they can't. So I don't know when that change of heart happened, but it was very abrupt and basically a complete 180 from what they were saying before. So, okay. AJ Love Music is saying that the Delaware governor had a press conference, and I will follow up on that as soon as we're off of here. It is, as I'm sure you can imagine, it is really difficult to track a lot of this in real time because we've got news coming in from all 50 states. We're tracking, SNAP and all of the other programs and everything. But we do have a link on our website, and hopefully one of my awesome mods here can go grab that link for me. But we're tracking all of the different states that are stepping up and what they're doing and how they're trying to help. And we're updating that information on our website every day because it's easier to update the website with new information than it is to go in and update older videos. YouTube doesn't really have a mechanism for us to go in and like swap out video segments to add new things and things. Once they're up, they're up. So if you keep an eye on our website, that's where we're going to be tabulating all those changes as they come in. So let's see. Will Section 8 be affected by the shutdown? That depends on how long the shutdown goes. We did a video on this a little bit ago, and what we saw is that HUD is saying that Section 8 vouchers will be funded through November, and it looked like they were also going to be funded through December, and there wasn't any solid information given on what would happen, say, in January if appropriations weren't made. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history was 35 days. We are now in the second longest shutdown. We're getting painfully close to that threshold, and I don't like that. I can't imagine what it would look like if the shutdown stretched long enough that that became an issue. But we kind of live in unprecedented times. So what I can promise you is that if this does continue and it does become an issue, we will continue reporting about it, and we will be doing our best to help you find resources to navigate that kind of a situation. The guidance that they gave in the documentation that I went over, I looked at a lot of stuff in preparation for that video that we did on Section 8, and a lot of them were saying, whatever you do your best to honor your obligation that you owe under your contract with Section 8. Like, make your part of the rent, even if you're not sure that HUD will do their part, because that will at least protect you. And there's all sorts of other guidance. You should definitely go check out that other video that we did on that for more details. Okay. Okay, so the question on, can you give me the information on GoPuff? Yeah, so we're currently looking up, if you go to the GoPuff website, it says that Philadelphia is where their headquarters is. They've got a bunch of different areas that they cover. I don't know if it's quite within our scope to go over all of those, but they are offering two $25 off coupons for groceries throughout the month of November. And if you want to rewind a little bit, you can get to that slide where we went over all of that. For those of you who are helping me moderate and flag questions, if it's something we already answered, you can always rewind the video while we're talking. So just, we're all learning together today as a team. So what else do you got? Okay. How do you change your insurance in open enrollment? That is a great question. So open enrollment is the window every year where the government lets you change your Medicare plan, whether you're on Original or Advantage or whatever. And Medicare is super complicated, right? There are over 20,000 Medicare plans nationwide, which is insane to me. Like, that is a lot of plans. And I know that not every plan is available in every area, and there's all of this information about it, but it just seems like the whole system is so overwhelming. And that's why I partner with Chapter, because their sole job is to help you find the best plan for you. They have all sorts of databases that they use, and they can look at all of your options, and they're really honest about it, and they recommend what's best for you. We've been getting a lot of rave reviews from them over the last couple of weeks from people who have called that number and had great results and gotten better benefits than they had before. So if you have any questions about open enrollment or Medicare, I encourage you to do what I do, and that's talk to Chapter. Whenever I get a Medicare question, I email them because they know way more about it than I do. So, okay. Darlene, you got anything? Okay. Yeah, so Joyce is asking, I don't understand how people are getting $3,000 to $4,000 a month in SNAP. I assume you're seeing those videos on social media. would be my first question there. I've been seeing, this has been coming across my feed too, all sorts of videos of people talking about these outrageous amounts of SNAP benefits that they're getting. And in most cases, those videos are blatantly fake. This has been a massive pet peeve of mine for the last couple of months as we've seen more and more inflammatory stuff happening. So if you go to the USDA website, every year when they announce the COLA that increases people's benefits, they also release a new maximum allotment table, which is the absolute most you can receive for your household size. Sorry, apparently we have a troll issue here. Okay. All right, so like I was saying, this table talks about the absolute maximum you can get for your household size. So if you have absolutely zero income, you're getting the absolute most that the USDA will give you. The most you're going to get for a household of 8 in the 48 states and DC is $1,789 a month. That is a far cry from $3,000 to $4,000 a month. If you are in Guam, now Guam has its own maximum rate table because expenses are very different there. If you have a family of 8 in Guam, you can get up to $2,637 a month if you have no income, a household of 8. And if you have no income as a household of 8, they're going to have all sorts of questions about how you're affording your housing and everything else. Now, logically, people aren't getting $3,000 to $4,000 a month in SNAP, but a lot of people are creating videos about it because it makes people mad. And when people get mad, they click on things and they watch things and they comment on things. And then the person who made the video makes a lot of money. And so that's why people do that. And it drives me crazy. Okay, do you have another question for me? Because I could stand on this soapbox for like the next 3 hours and keep talking. So hopefully our moderators will get us something else to talk about here because I could just keep going on that and I don't think anyone wants me to keep. Okay, let's highlight this comment here. You can always lock and unlock your EBT cards in between purchases. That is true, and it is the very best thing you can do. SNAP theft is a huge problem. Because they use those magnetic strips, it's just easy for people to use skimming devices to steal that information, clone cards, and we've seen so much theft happening in the SNAP program. So if you lock your card between transactions, you are going to be able to protect those benefits. You're going to make sure that they are there for you when you need to use them. Usually your state EBT app will be able to do this for you. I believe that the Propel app can do it too, and I've talked to the people who run that. I trust them pretty well, but you want to be careful using any other third-party EBT apps because you never want to put those benefits at risk. It's very important to be careful with that. All right. Are we going to get reimbursed after it opens? That is going to depend on what Congress does. So I was encouraged to see that the acts that have been introduced in the Senate right now, the two that I talked to you about earlier in this video, did talk about reimbursement. So it sounds like that's something that lawmakers are already discussing. It sounds like there's pretty good bipartisan support for that in Congress. I am optimistic that when the government reopens, if we do miss anything, that it will be retroactive. But I can't promise that because it's going to depend on how they go about that reopening. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. I really appreciate all of you guys and your patience as our team adapts to this. I can see we have over 2,000 people on the stream right now, and that is far and away just way more people than we usually have on here. So it's been interesting to try to adapt to the increased viewership, which we do appreciate. I wish the trolls would stay out of here a little better, but you know, hey, doing what we can. All right, for those of you who are just tuning in and asking what the new information is, I am trying to keep our live streams a little bit more concise and not always like go back and rehash things. So I would encourage you to rewind. You should be able to grab that dot at the bottom, take it back and catch the slide presentation that we went through before. because that'll go over all of that information for you. I've been trying to, and I'd love to know if this is helpful to you. You see the little ticker at the bottom of the screen that's in blue with the words that are going by. I've been trying to put some of that information in there so that those of you who tune in a little later can kind of see what's going on without having to go back and forth. Let's see. A lot of you are asking for state-specific guidance, and everything. So I updated our state list yesterday, and I intend to do it again as soon as I am off of here. But I don't want to give you any information that's out of date because things are just moving so fast. So if you have a question about what's going on in your state, I would encourage you to go to lowincomerelief.com and find that article because that'll tell you what we know so far. Benjamin Gelman is saying Amazon Fresh membership is half price for SNAP recipients. Amazon is great about helping people with SNAP. If you go to lirlinks.com/Amazon, that'll get you to the page. There'll be a little button there that'll take you to the page where you can upload I think it's like a picture of your SNAP card or something like that, and then you can get half off your Amazon Prime and all those other goodies that they give, which is really cool. Walmart does something similar. Target even has like half off Target Circle if you have SNAP. And you don't have to have benefits on your SNAP card to claim those freebies. That's actually something I suppose we should talk about here for a second. So you guys know, if you've been here a while, we've gone over and over and over that list of thousands of discounts and freebies you can get just by having an EBT card. Those should still be valid even if you're not carrying a balance. So I know nobody's probably going to be very interested in like the free museum discounts at this point because like costs are crushing us. But you know, the Amazon discount, the Walmart discount, Target Circle, phone bill assistance, internet utility assistance, all that stuff should still be valid. And you can find that list if you go to lowincomerelief.com/EBT. So hopefully that is helpful. Okay, do I know if Chapter ever recommends any company other than Select Health? Yes, I do. So I was so picky when I first started talking to Chapter. You have to understand how sponsorships work here at Low Income Relief. I reject 90% of the companies that ask to sponsor this channel because I make them go through a very rigorous interrogation to make sure that they're actually going to do right by you. We've had way too many bad companies approach us over the years, and I just don't play that game. So one of the first assurances that I got from Chapter was that they would absolutely recommend any plan that was best for you, even if it was original Medicare, whatever it was, didn't matter. Their goal is making sure that you get the very best plan for you. And I've heard from tons of people who have been connected with all sorts of different plans in all sorts of different states through this service. And the one thing that I hear consistently is that they help break it down in a way that's easier to understand, which I appreciate because Medicare is just a maze. And I mean, I remember before I even started Low Income Relief, my father-in-law asking me for help looking over Medicare stuff. And it just struck me how it feels like it's intentionally complicated, honestly. It's so frustrating. But yes, I do know that Chapter recommends other companies. In fact, because I have to go over their disclaimer when I put it in different things, there are 20,000 Medicare plans, and they work with, they'll recommend any of them, but they work with like 18,000 of them or something. It's crazy, crazy numbers. Okay. Do you got anything?
I did, but then someone warned me about a troll and I had to go find them.
That's okay. I know it's an overwhelming thing. My poor daughter over here is getting a taste of what I do for work, and I think it's a little much. Let's see. Yes, Robert says, Social Security Office said you can't believe everything you hear on YouTube. If it says .gov, then it's from the U.S. government. So I'm going to push back on that, and probably not in the way that you would expect. I fully and completely agree that you cannot believe everything you hear on YouTube. Please do not believe everything you hear on YouTube. It's remarkably easy to create a YouTube channel, and a lot of people just say whatever they feel like. That being said, I have seen a huge increase in scams using .gov. You can only register a .gov website if you're from the government, but that's not going to stop people from saying .gov in their YouTube channel name just to confuse you. So please be careful, even with those .gov things. If you're going to a website and it's like, USDA.gov, then you're good. But if you're looking at a YouTube channel called USDA.gov, you may not be really looking at the USDA, right? We have had all sorts of imitators try to imitate our channel over the years too, and it's just really easy for scammers to do terrible things. So please, please be cautious. And I know I've been saying this a lot lately, but if you see something that you're not sure you can trust, if you can screenshot it, take a picture of it, send it to team@lowincomerelief.com. Our team will do our best to figure out what's going on, what you're looking at. We've been helping people identify scams and different things over the last couple of weeks just because we want to try to help you guys stay safe out there. I know this is just a wild time and the internet is not making it easier in a lot of cases. Okay. Let's see. Did you have anything else? Wow. This is amazing. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you being here. Is unemployment open during the government shutdown? That is a great question. I believe it is, but Rebecca was the one looking into that for me. So let me see what she said. Actually, I'm not sure I can get to that quickly enough here on camera, and I don't want to make you watch me dig it up. I do know, and I can tell you this, on... Now my brain won't do it. Okay, on Friday, I believe it is, we are going to be doing another one of these. We'll either be putting out a video or a stream, and we're going to go over every program we can think of and whether or not it's operational in the shutdown. So if you have questions about specific programs, let us know, and we'll make sure we get that in that roundup. I think I saw that unemployment was still going. I'm pretty sure that's state-based. So I think so. But I don't have that information in front of me, so I can't promise for sure. Okay. Let's see. What is shutting down next? Medicaid. So Medicaid is supposed to be good for at least the first full fiscal quarter after a shutdown, from what I read. So there shouldn't be any issues with Medicaid unless somehow this continues into January. And at that point, we're going to have to revisit a lot of things if it gets that far, because a lot of other things will also be affected. So for now, your Medicaid should be fine. And if that changes, we will definitely update you. So I really, really hope that they get this sorted out soon, because I know there is so much to be worried about. Let's see. Do you got anything else? Yeah, I agree with this. K Rose says no one is getting $3,000 in SNAP. That is false, and it is absolutely false. That's just a thing people like to say. Let's see. Do I have any information on Medicaid? So we are going to be. I was actually, when I saw the comments that Trump had made about SNAP, I was in the middle of preparing a live stream for you on Medicaid, because there is a lot going on there as well. And I think that's probably going to be the topic of our chat tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and hold any Medicaid questions. We'll go ahead and document those so that we can try to get those answered for you tomorrow when I have all of the Medicaid information in front of me. Because I kind of got sidetracked when I saw what Trump had said about SNAP this morning. So I do apologize for that. I know there's so many programs to worry about right now. Like, I see this comment here about being worried about LIHEAP, and I am extremely worried about LIHEAP as well. I saw some comments that some states are choosing to delay the opening of their applications for at least 30 days while the federal government tries to figure out what it's doing. And I know that every day that that's not available for people is an added hardship, right? So we're going to be, I know it's not very comforting for me to tell you that we're going to get to that in a couple of days, but we also have a team looking into LIHEAP and every possible alternative assistance that you could have for that, so that we can bring you hopefully some solutions as we talk about those problems. I know all of us are tired, and we are tired of the bad news and the hopelessness and the despair that comes with a lot of the news that we're seeing. So I am trying as much as possible We're expanding our team and we're trying to find those good solutions that still exist so that there is at least a silver lining when we share that information. So I'll be back in a couple of days to talk about LIHEAP. Do I know if Project Angel Food is providing Thanksgiving dinner to the elderly? Okay. I have not heard about that program specifically, but we do have somebody that is today digging into all of those. So we will be back in the next couple of days with that information. If we can hold highlighting the Medicaid, the LIHEAP, and the Thanksgiving questions, because I'm going to be getting to that in the next week.
Okay.
If there's anything else that we can. Yeah, those of you who are asking us to ban the trolls, we have 3 people in here that are trying to keep up with banning all of the trolls. And I don't know what it is about the last couple of days that just brought them out in force on all of our videos, but we're trying. Oh my goodness, guys. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you, Elle. I think it's really cool that GoPuff stepped up and did that. I'm hoping. Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't see those trolls. Thank you for blocking those. I appreciate that. Okay, yeah, I really love what GoPuff is doing. I am hopeful that more companies are going to step up and do something similar. And I'm also hoping it'll be unnecessary. I'm hoping a lot of things right now, guys. um, I'm hoping for a lot of things. Okay, let's see. Yep. Just to repeat what we said earlier about SNAP benefits, Julie put it in writing for us so that I can show all you guys here on screen. I really appreciate that. Yeah. M. Bryce said the Medicare calls won't stop. 45 calls yesterday alone. So I know those calls are relentless. And most of, in my opinion, I get hounded by business loan, SBA calls all the time because I'm a business owner. In my opinion, the companies that reach out to you aggressively are usually not the ones you want to work with. If they have to be that aggressive, like, it really makes me question a lot of things, at least when I'm dealing with people who want to give me loans, right? The best thing that I have figured out, hang on, sorry, don't change the question, but going back to the thing about the Medicare calls, the best thing that I have done to stop the number of scam calls that I'm personally receiving is to sign up for a service called Delete Me, because it constantly scans and deletes my phone number everywhere it finds it on the internet, and that stops it from being found and sold and resold and scraped. And it's really cut down on the amount of scam calls that I get. I only get, two or three now, where I used to get probably like 300. So they are a sponsor because I use them myself. I have that referral code. If you go to lirlinks.com/DM, you can sign up for Delete Me. I think you get 20% off if you use that link. And it has been a lifesaver for me in terms of cutting down on the amount of scam calls and sales calls and just general harassment that comes through the phone line. So maybe that'll help. Okay, Mad Cow Music, love the name, says some churches have potlucks on Saturdays, and that is very true. Churches are great for that. Some communities do too. Like, I've been surprised to see how many communities have just had open dinners at like civic centers and different things like that. So anyway, that is always an option. Let's see. When do you normally stream live? So I was late today. I am supposed to put my videos out at 3 o'clock every day, Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Is usually when our videos are going to start. But on a day like this, when there's breaking news that kind of swapped up our whole cycle, sometimes those videos may come out as late as 4 o'clock, depending on just the general chaos of what we're researching. Now, this question from Benjamin I wanted to get to. It says, one of your mods timed me out for no reason. So we did put on slow chat today, which we've never done before because of what happened on the stream yesterday with all of the bots and the personal attacks that were happening. So there is a limiter on how fast people can send messages. And that's just like a blanket thing we're doing to everybody. It was never meant to be anything personal. So if you are feeling like we're being mean, We are not trying to be. We are just three relatively inexperienced people trying to deal with a massive onslaught of traffic that we're not used to. I've been doing this for a long time, not necessarily with a live chat. And my assistants, one of them is my daughter, who's never done this before. And then I've never asked Stephanie to help me in quite this way before either. So we're all learning new things today. But if you want to repost your question, Benjamin, we'd be happy to take a look at that and see what we can do to answer your questions. So, alrighty. Let's see, trying to catch up here. All right, Ill-Gotten Gain says, is October EBT going to roll over to November? The government doesn't agree with itself on this point, so I don't know how to answer it. Several official sources, including the USDA, say, yeah, if you have a balance in October, it's going to carry over into November. It's going to be fine. Other state governments, including Arkansas, are putting on their website that you need to empty your benefits before November 1st, or they may disappear, or the system may be locked. I don't know. Because usually when I'm faced with a question like this, I go to USDA.gov, I go to the state websites, I go to those .gov resources, I figure out what everybody's saying and I go with it. But there is so much just absolutely conflicting information that I don't think anybody really knows. Because never in the history of the SNAP program have benefits not been sent. Like that's just not been a thing. And so I think part of the reason there's so much conflicting information is because they just genuinely have no idea what's going to happen. And that's just my theory. We're trying to reach out and get better answers, but during the government shutdown, they are not very responsive to questions. So I don't know. What I do know is that as someone who used to rely on EBT to feed my family, I don't think I would take that chance. Between the fact that some government agencies are saying that it's going to not be available and the fact that EBT theft is so rampant, I don't think I would risk it. I would go buy shelf-stable food that can last a long time, just because I wouldn't risk that for my own family, but that's my own personal choice. I wish there was a better and more definitive answer to this question because I know it's the question that everyone is asking right now. And I think the reason so many people are asking it is because there's so much conflicting information out there. And it's just so overwhelming. I'm sorry, Rocky's a vet. I have to highlight this. He says, I'm so tired of hearing about this SNAP issue. I'm ready to snap. And that shouldn't make me laugh. But I just love your turn of phrase right there. I appreciate the pun. I also am tired of hearing about the SNAP issue. And it's been my general policy on this channel to try not to do multiple SNAP videos in a row. Like we try to address SNAP and Social Security and all the different things and grants and what have you. But this week coming into that deadline, the news is just so relentless that we're just, I don't know. I have a video queued up that I've been thinking we'd post for days now, but breaking news keeps getting in the way. All right, Mothra says, I really wish you'd stop the ads breaking in your show. This is live. Lives should be ad-free. Sorry. I'll get to that one you highlighted in just a second. I have no control during a live stream where the ads show up. Our team is ad supported, so those ads do help fund our research team, our website, our hosting, all of our... It's what makes it possible for us to do this, but I do wish they were less intrusive, and I do apologize if it's interrupting your experience. I'll see if there's some way that I can adjust that to make it easier to bear. I don't want to be an inconvenience. Okay. And then, we did just answer this question about benefits rolling over into November. So I won't repeat that, but we did just answer that one. You got another one yet? No, it's okay. You're doing great for somebody who's never done this before. I really appreciate you. My daughter's awesome, in case you were wondering. Is there any change to the foster care system? So I am not aware of any. I do know that the work rule exemptions have changed for young adults who are aging out of foster care. That is, they basically removed that exemption that was in place for those young people. I am not aware of any other changes at this time, but we can refer that to our research team to try to get more information if there's something specific you're concerned about there. Yeah, so I love this from Amanda. There's a good percentage of people on the food assistance program that do work, but their jobs don't pay enough to feed their family. The larger percentage are elderly and those with disabilities, and that's absolutely true. In families that have children, the majority are working, and the rest are elderly and disabled, and work isn't a solution for people in that situation. So, yeah. Oh, my goodness, Melly, I didn't even realize that we have a time limiter, and then there's also a limit on how many words you can type. And I did not realize what a problem that would be. That is definitely something we need to take into consideration because, yeah, I can see where those two things together could be a massive inconvenience. Okay, Lauren says, my father has cancer on Medicare and Social Security. Should he be worried? So, Social Security is going to continue. It's not affected by the shutdown. You're going to be fine. Medicare is also a separate thing. It shouldn't be affected by the shutdown. You should be fine. I am sorry to hear about the cancer, though. That is absolutely heartbreaking. Depending on the type of cancer that it is, we do have some cancer grants that may be able to help with expenses and different things. We have some of those lists available on low income relief, and we're still working on getting others of those out. But yeah, I would search the website for those grants, and if you're not able to find them, let our team know, and we'll see if we can get that out for you, because there are all sorts of organizations that may be able to step in and assist you with all sorts of different things in that situation. And again, I'm so sorry. Cancer is awful. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to answer this really quick. Shanti says, will you ever let us know if you are looking for paid remote work? So, yeah, at this point, from a purely bookkeeping strategy, because I don't exactly know how all of the things work, we do the majority of our hiring through the platform Upwork.com. And we do currently have an open position for research. We are trying so hard to build up the research team to try to keep track of everything that's going on. So if you are interested in that, we could possibly see about getting that link out for people to put a proposal in on Upwork. That's just where we get and manage most of our team. So yeah. Julie says 211 helps a great deal, and that is true. It's better in some areas than others. Some people have complained about not being able to find what they need. I have found that the website is often more helpful than the phone number. So if you're not getting what you need from the phone lines, going to the 211 website might be able to help you as well. But yeah, 211 is amazing. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Do I have any information about Medicare grocery cards? Okay, so they are real. There are plans that offer grocery cards, and they are not affected by the shutdown. They are part of your plan. It's a totally different animal than your SNAP benefits. That being said, some of the plans are going to be better than others, right? Like I've seen some really scammy ads for plans that have Medicare grocery cards, but I've also heard great things from people who are getting a massive help through their plan. And that is, again, where I would defer to Chapter, because they know about all the different plans and how they work, and, you know, which ones let you see what doctors and help with your medications. And just there's so much to think about when it comes to Medicare, right? There's more to think about than I realized. I've learned so much from the people at Chapter as we talk through the different things and through the book that they gave me and stuff like that. So if you have questions about Medicare grocery cards, I would call these guys. Oh, good. Amanda, I appreciate that. I'm glad that the chat is a little bit more pleasant today. It was really hard to keep up on all the messages yesterday. I know they were actually, the streaming tool that I use apparently has a cap on comments, which I'd never seen before because we'd never had that problem. But it was, things were disappearing faster than I could even see them. It was pretty crazy there for a little bit. So I think slow chat, as frustrating as it is doing really good for us today. So that's awesome. Now we are coming up on the 1 hour mark, and my daughter and I both have somewhere we need to be. So we are only going to be able to answer probably, what should we say, 2 or 3 more questions maybe? Can we handle that? Okay, we can handle that. And for anyone that we miss, I absolutely hate signing off before we get to everybody's questions. But if you are missed, please know we're going to be back tomorrow. I'm planning to go over Medicaid tomorrow, as long as there isn't anything crazy that happens in the meantime. This feels like we keep getting blindsided by news every day. But the plan is to talk about Medicaid tomorrow. So anyway, okay, what do we got? You got any more questions for me? All right. Interested in angel food. Yeah, so whoever asked the question about angel food, if you have a link for that, you can drop down below. That would be awesome. I know when it comes to Thanksgiving meals, we have a link on our website, and we just update the same link every year to make sure it's accurate. So you can always go to Low Income Relief and search there. Because, yeah, we found it easier to just keep it all on a link because there's so many different programs in so many different states. And we do try to find all of them. Yeah, people are suggesting that we turn the ads off, and unfortunately we'd have to turn the team off too, and that wouldn't end well for any of us, I don't think. Alrighty. Kaylee, do you got any other questions up and ready over there? I'm trying to read as fast as I can, but I know you've been reading away over there. All right, can I repeat that again about the scam calls? Yes. Scam calls are terrible. Everybody gets them. So there are websites on the internet that just scrape data and publish it. This was worse a number of years ago. Google made an update where they've kind of made progress, but only kind of. If you get a call from a phone number, you can Google it, and a lot of times you can figure out who's calling you and stuff like that. So there's a service I use called Delete Me. And what it does is it goes through and it combs over all of those pages that publish information, and it deletes me. It deletes my phone number, it deletes my addresses, it deletes my email addresses, and it has dramatically reduced the amount of scam calls, unwanted calls, different things like that. I use it personally. I started using it because I've received death threats from running this channel. And so I was trying to keep my family safe, and getting less scam calls was just like a happy byproduct of using that tool. But I love them to death. I will never be without that service in my life. If you're interested in it, you can get a 20% discount using our affiliate link at lirlinks.com/DM. It's basically low income relief links, but it's an acronym. So it's lirlinks.com/DM. And that'll take you over to them. They're fantastic people. Anyway, let's see. There's an article in USA Today stating that your benefits will be available on November 1st and the balance will be whatever it was. Really? Can you drop a link to that? Because unless something just happened, that's... Yeah, I'm not seeing that over here. I will dig in, but unless you've got a link for me to look at, I'm not seeing that any sort of agreement has been made to get those benefits on November 1st, unless maybe you're in one of the states that has stepped up to deal with that, because I know some states are enacting their own solutions. Yeah. What about pet food to help for the fur babies? Yes. So a lot of food banks provide pet food as well. And if you go to lowincomerelief.com/pets, we have a list of all of the food banks that we found that offer pet food. We found other sources that offer pet food, veterinary care grants, all sorts of stuff to help those fur babies out. There is so much out there. We've even found like pet boarding and all sorts of crazy stuff. It's really awesome. So yeah, hopefully that's able to help you out. Okay, you just got here, so where should you scroll back to? The Trump statement is the first thing we covered, and I think we got to the extra $50 in food stamps at the end of our slide presentation, so probably somewhere around the 10 to 15 minute mark should get you where you want to go there. Hey, Kaylee, I'm not sure if you saw this one, but we're seeing a lot of thank you to your daughters for your work today. So
that makes me happy.
She's very happy for that. Thank you. Anything else?
A lot of GoPuff stuff.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, we have to go. She's got some stuff she's got to go do. Do you want to come over here and say hi to the people before we go? You can if you want to. You're going to have to stand up or you're going to...
Okay.
Here's my lovely assistant today. All right. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you being here and talking to us, and I hope you have a great day. And we will be back tomorrow, hopefully with some Medicaid information for you, or possibly some other topics if there's more news. You are all wonderful. You're in our thoughts. And yeah, thank you again.